Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. And with FaZe struggling to get over the line in a few recent series, it's becoming increasingly clear that OpTic Texas are the team to beat right now in the CDL. Scump is explaining what it's going to take for them to stay on top and why Dashy right now is comfortably the best player in the game. Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you are new as always. I would greatly appreciate it. Really upset the channel. Thank you very much indeed for doing that. Very relevant to today's video actually, because the last couple of weeks myself and the Breaking Point guys have been working on this Dashy documentary. It's kind of similar to the Scump and Crimsix one we did a while ago. It's about 20 minutes long. It's an absolute banger. It's premiering tonight on the Breaking Point channel. This channel's going to stay for like regular programming stuff, I think, at least for the near future. Might be some bangers like this that come on this channel at some point. But anyway, it's a cracking video. It's premiering tonight and will be live later on. So yeah, very relevant for today. Make sure you guys check that out live. 4 PM Eastern, I think, is when we're going to launch it. Also wanted to mention this for the New York subliners. Not sure exactly what is going on right here. They reckon 3 days until some announcement. I'm pretty sure this might be on the organizational level, because I thought I saw something about the fact that, okay, the New York subliners, they're owned by Anbox, but Anbox also have the New York Excelsior, the Overwatch League team. And interestingly enough, the Anbox Twitter account has, I'm pretty sure, renamed itself to NYXL, the New York Excelsior. They also say the 23rd of March. So I don't know what's going on here, to be honest. I'm not sure if there's some sort of organization like a shake-up that's happening, whether that's going to affect the subliners at all. I don't really know. Like, I imagine it's still going to be called the same thing, but like, the logo's gone. They're expecting something new, so I don't really know what's going on here, to be perfectly honest. But I mean, yeah, I guess stay tuned for that one. Not sure it's going to be a roster thing, more of like a higher up organizational type stuff. But yeah, it may trickle down to what actually affects the roster itself. Who really knows what's going on? Speaking of course, the New York, we do have the official logo right here. These are the current season standings and Major 2 standings. So while OpTic right now, I believe, well, obviously they're number 1. They've both played the same number of regular season matches, I believe, going into the final one. But of course, OpTic with the victory at the Major, they just about have the edge in points. There should well be a battle next week, at least in theory, between the two of them for the number 1 seed in the game. But the way FaZe have looked as of late, of course, they kind of struggled to get past London. They did manage to do it kind of comfortably, but the hard points weren't convincing. Against Ultra yesterday, they arguably should have lost, down like 210 to 140 on the Tuscan hard point. Ultra threw away the game 4. They lose the series. Of course, FaZe also lost to Seattle Surge as well just a few days ago. So right now, FaZe, despite being the number 2 seed with a lot of points to their name, still looking pretty suspect, to be honest. And of course, with the Major, they lost twice to OpTic, and then recently FaZe lost to Surge as well. So I think most people say kind of comfortably that OpTic are the team to beat the number 1 squad in the game. X disagrees, but you know how that goes with X the OpTic killer. And who knows that like next weekend, right? Because next weekend when OpTic do play FaZe, like FaZe actually might need to win that series to get good seeding for the Major. Whereas for OpTic, they could already be 4-0, comfortably ahead. They might just test out some maps and try some new things and not give away too many strats when they might play them in the Major if OpTic think that the seeding for that matchup doesn't really matter all that much. But look, it's going to be exciting times regardless. And just looking actually now at the standings, because OpTic are already 3-0, 9-3 map counts. FaZe here at 5th at 2-1. And yeah, currently the bottom 4 is still New York subliners, Seattle Surge at 1-3, LA Thieves at 0-4, Paris are all the way chalked, and it's very unlikely that Thieves can make it out either, because the 4-9 map count is not going to be pretty for them. Like New York subliners even in a better spot, but New York don't have the easiest games. Then again, well, neither do Los Angeles Thieves. We'll certainly have a look at that one later today. But yeah, right now Boston and OpTic kind of leading it up, both number 1 seed right here. OpTic, I'm pretty sure, play 2 more games, one of which is against FaZe, so not going to be all that easy. But I mean, yeah, still, if you've got 3 victories, you're locked up for the winners bracket. And of course, it could be some chaos down here, to be honest. Like, it's not necessarily clear whether you want the number 1 seed or the number 2 seed or whatever, because at the lower side of this, I'm sure it's going to be chaos, because Toronto already right now, they might not have the greatest seeding. Like, you could have some crazy first round matchups, is just what the case is going to be here. And Florida, who knows how they're going to be. It's not clear at all that the number 1 seed is the best possible thing to aim for, but of course, it's good to win all your series and keep the momentum up. And I'm sure OpTic will try and do that over here in the coming days. Just to mention real quick before we talk about the OpTic stuff in more detail, like, there has been a lot of talk about control lately, right? And the fact that for some reason, this control change has not arrived yet, as Slasher says even Bubba Lid is sick of it. Controlling, you know, this game is crap, she says. So, mate, look, I don't really know what's going on there, to be honest, why it hasn't arrived as of yet. They said it was going to happen at quite a while ago now. I'm pretty sure it's before Stage 2 even began. Maybe it was even before the Stage 1 Major, actually. Daniel Sai came on the phone, or like on the video, and right, and he said that they were going to fix this stuff. Now, of course, it's going to make it much more watchable. Right now, going to round 5, every single control is very frustrating indeed. But if anything, it might actually be helping OpTic. Some people say that their slaying is so good. For example, on Tuscan, they are a pretty good offensive team, right? We've already seen that. But Dashy is so good over towards that B point when they're trying to hold that down on the defense that often they'll build up a life advantage just through that and then get the defense round 5 where they'll be able to convert. They've done that a few times now. If it was the other way around, then maybe they're not the best offensive team in terms of actually getting ticks on the board, and therefore maybe things will actually change up in terms of which teams are the best when this change does come through. But I think it's going to be a great one for fans. I'm sure the teams will be able to adapt anyway, right, like to play in this kind of a new situation. Hopefully it happens soon, but at this point I'm not really expecting it to happen before the Stage 2 Major, which is unfortunate because I mean it's been pretty brutal watching a lot of these controls lately, to be perfectly honest. So as discussed, the OpTic guys of course come up against the Florida Mutineers a few days ago. Dashy on this game one at this point, I believe he was 39 in 26. Like he had a pretty, well honestly by his standards, the series he played against Seattle wasn't all that good despite still having like a 1.15 KD, and then this series he had like a 1.4 or something. So like the standard range for Dashy right now seems to be somewhere between 1.1 and 1.4, which is you know, pretty outrageous to be honest. Like there's a lot of main ARs in this game that are struggling. That's what's impressed me the most about Dashy, I think, is that there's very few main assault rifles or even assault rifle players in general that are having a crazy amount of impact on this game. The more traditional ARs, the likes of Slasher, Octane, like Priestahh for example, we've looked at, they've had very difficult time so far this year. Dashy of course, well traditionally a flex player, but he's just been out of control so far, dropping insane numbers all across the board. The likes of course like Cellium and Zero are kind of really the other ones, maybe Arcitys to some degree, that have been up there in terms of actually having impact, but Dashy's been far and away the most impactful, I think, especially over these last few weeks. Cellium certainly was when the year started. He had like that, 2.7 KD in Search and Destroy for a little while. Since then it's been a little bit different, and Dashy's kind of come through. Against Seattle, as he says, not my or our best Call of Duty today, we pulled through with a victory regardless. And I mean, yeah, look at this, right? Despite the fact that they didn't really play the greatest Call of Duty in the world, it still scanned Dashy with a 1.14, 96 kills. Like the hard point obviously goes in his favor as well. And then of course the most recent series he turned up even more at 1.45 KT. So recently, that's the thing, the last few years Dashy's been like, okay, he's doing good numbers on the AR, but is it actually converting into results? And if it isn't, then of course questions are going to be raised. And in fairness, guys like Crim6 have certainly said in previous seasons he doesn't really feel like Dashy played the right way last year. I think he said the quote was basically that he lost, that Dashy lost OpTic Chicago more maps than he won them, and I think he put Dashy like 21st or 24th or something on his list, saying that he should have been a top 5 player if he played the game the right way. This year seems to be a different story, not just in terms of attitude, but also in terms of play style, and seems to be incredibly impactful in addition to dropping crazy numbers, which of course is very valuable indeed. Now Scump obviously has some thoughts on this, right? Of course, going into the major again, they're currently 3-0. They will be comfortably into the winners bracket. So yeah, they're of course focusing on expanding their map pool and what it's going to take going forwards, because it's a sign of a good team that you can maybe not play your best and still win series. And Scump is very much convinced that Dashy is the best player in the game right now. So as is described here by Lussier, of course, that being the coach, thought was quite interesting, as he says the 10 wins is more of a validation because of course they're currently on a 10 win streak, which is pretty impressive. We're going on the right path, we're doing the right thing. Our match on Friday, one of the worst we have played all year, I believe that was the Seattle one, but it was still enough to win. I think everyone agreed every day is a productive day on this team. Always a good sign that even when a series victory goes down, the team can still sit and like, okay, yeah, we messed this up, should have been a 3-0. And that's the thing, Rambo seems to be kind of a perfectionist, right? I believe he said that he won't be satisfied that this team has reached its potential until they win a major without dropping a map. So he's just expecting this team, like, you know, if they play perfect COD, they can win every single map that they play. And anything less than that, he's obviously going to be looking at the mistakes, right? Doesn't matter if they win an event 3-1, 3-1 the whole way through, maybe a few 3-0s, few 3-2s, he's not going to be satisfied, right? He's always looking at the potential improvements that can still be made. And that's, well, certainly the sign of a champion, to be perfectly honest. Now, this is what Scump has to say on the match I thought was quite interesting. Everyone on the team always steps up whenever they are needed, doesn't matter who it is. If we need a 2-piece to break something and we are going to get it, that's something that really separates us from a lot of other teams. I think we certainly saw that right at the end of that control right against Florida, when it was backs against the wall, like Florida had a nice couple of breaks into the hill, and then Shotzzy just comes flying at bottom church, gets a kill on Awakening, which you never think you would actually get. Dashy gets a 2-piece as well, and all of a sudden they break into the control point and hold it down and lock down the entire rounds. So yeah, moments like that, which every single player seems to be able to produce on this team, which isn't necessarily the case all across the board. That's the thing, in a 4 versus 4 environment, all your players need to be able to step up like that if you want to consistently be the best team in the world. Talked about it yesterday with Seattle, right? That if their star players aren't there, they do struggle a bit. Not really the case for OpTic. It's all across the board, the talent is there. That's what made the dynasty so good, is that if one player was dropping off, the other ones could pick up the slack in terms of the slaying. And that's why that team was formed initially, right? And it seems like OpTic have been able to do a similar thing, at least so far this year. The 10 series win streak is very impressive. Anyone can make a big play whenever it's needed. Brute is nasty. He's the best player pretty much in the game right now, as Scump described. So yeah, obviously, well, no surprise really that Scump would say this about his own teammates, but it makes perfect sense, right? He's doing incredible damage, outperforming all the other main assault rifles, no doubt, in the game. Thought it was also quite interesting what Rambo finished off with here. I don't feel the most confident about our chance of winning the major if we are going to be winning games that way. If we're going to play how we did against Seattle, against Florida, won't be the best. I want it to be clean, precise. I want to feel like every map we are mentally, fundamentally, and skill-wise ahead of whoever we are playing. Until we get to that point in the next 10 days, I will not be comfortable, right? I'm pretty sure he said even going into Major 1 that he wasn't super comfortable with the way they're playing, and still at the weekend they turn up and won the entire thing. So just shows that even when they're on a 10 win streak, Ramo's not going to sit there and say, oh, yeah, it's all sunshine and rainbows, he's very much clear that this team isn't even near where it can be, which I'm sure is exciting and motivating for the guys as well, knowing they can get even better than they are right now. I wanted to share this clip as well, because of course Dashy might be the best player in the game right now, but they've got Shotzzy on their team as well, which you no doubt is one of the most talented, well, console players, I guess controller players now as it is on PC, in esports history, to be honest. Formal has a few words to say from just a couple of days ago, saying that he reckons that Shotzzy might be the best FPS player in history.
You think Shotzzy can go down as the best? I think Shotzzy will go down as the best FPS player ever. Yeah, on console at least, for sure. For sure. And take that from me, who's someone who has a huge ego by himself, and like won't like. It's hard for me to admit that. But for him, I'll say it like no questions asked. No cap.
That's good gas, no doubt at all, from Formal, and this is currently the Major 1 MVP ladder, or after Major 1. This is what it looked like, at least based on the voting that a few people did. Dashy, Cellium, Shotzzy. Most people have a list something like this for the MVP at the present time, but I think like all the OpTic guys are comfortably in the top 6 at least on this list, which is pretty remarkable. Just looking at the stats here actually over these final few series, I mean, it's kind of incredible what OpTic have done, because they lost the first 3 series, including the kickoff to Los Angeles Thieves, lost the first 2 Game 5 round 11, since then have been on a crazy win streak. In hardpoint, Dashy has a 1.17, in Search and Destroy he has a 1.18, and in Control he has a 1.31, which is just absurd. Like, on defense Tuscan, I'm sure this number must be like a 1.5 or something. Like, yeah, he's been out of control in that game mode, and it's not like he's slacking in terms of engagements for 10 minutes, and like, and kills for 10 minutes either. He's right up there in terms of engagements with the rest of his team. At least in Control and the Search and Destroy. In the hard one, of course, it's Shotzzy going pretty much faster, but Dashy actually has more engagements or more kills for 10 minutes than even Illy does, right, who's maybe meant to be a slightly quicker player on the team. So, just goes to show the impact he's having all across the board. He's not like being a slow AO and getting a load of kills. He's right up in their face and still doing the damage. So the 2 remaining games that OpTic have to play here, they're currently 9-3 map count. They still have to play FaZe. They play Los Angeles Guerrillas early next week, a team that looked somewhat better yesterday up against Seattle. So not going to be the easiest series in the world. I believe Shotzzy said in their post-game interview they're basically going to be focusing on expanding the map pool and making sure they're playing their best squad ahead of the major. But yeah, still, they're certainly the team to beat right now. Definitely the case with FaZe struggling over the last few days. They just about get over the line against Ultra last night, and Ultra where CleanX was unwell. Definitely FaZe are in a bit of a slump, but they're also a team that somehow gets over the line regardless, it seems. And I thought this new replay feature that the Esports engine guys rolled out last night was pretty cool between rounds. But very much intrigued to your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, hit in a like button. Tell us your YouTube gods this is a good video. Others like you should see it as well. And help grow the competitive Call of Duty community. Thank you as always. Take care. And I will see you next time.